Story King. Seven.
All right, may peace and power elevation be to all you beautiful folks out there. What's happening? What's going on? This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. So I have a special guest right here, my brother Akachi. So yeah, I got a special guest. We getting ready to talk about were the ancient Egyptian, the Atlanteans, were the ancient Egyptian Atlanteans. So yeah, this is an interesting discussion. So he said he got some sources that he's going to put out there for me, and we're gonna have a discussion about this. So I just want to know were the ancient Egyptian Atlantis or part of the Atlantis. So he's going to talk about it, and I'm just going to give the platform over to him. So let me go ahead and mute my brother. Hey, what's going
Peace.
on? What's happening? What's
Peace.
good? Peace,
Peace.
peace, peace, peace. I see you.
Yeah. So,
So,
like I said in the in your comment section when we first got on this topic, uh, I should have mind my business because I don't like dealing with that realm with people, especially when you get into like Greek concepts and you dealing with metaphysics and all that type of shit. It can get way out there. You already know how the pseudos they gonna grab it and give them an inch. They
yeah.
gonna take them out. So like
Actually, to be honest
I
with
don't like
you,
dealing with that shit. But as a fellow scholar, I think I could build with you and get some understanding of what that thought or that idea of Atlantis, what it is founded in, and how it's connected to the ancient Egyptians or ancient Africans.
okay, I know you was giving me a book. As a matter of fact, I have the book on my Google Play on my phone. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
finna say it's available on Google Play.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I got the book on my Google Play. If I can pull it up, let me go ahead and pull it up.
Hold on, let me give you a reference. Hold on.
Let me pull it up because it was the book that you was telling me about. I have it on Google Play.
This right here. Check your messenger. I sent a screenshot. I wish I had my laptop so I could give you the actual Igbo cultural museum reference. That's a screenshot from their blog. So that's the predication I'm gonna be building on.
Okay, hold on. I had it on here. Wait a minute. Let me figure this out because I
And
had
can
the
you
book on.
shit? Are you on YouTube right now?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
Or can you share the link
Okay,
to my messenger or something?
well, share the link of.
The YouTube link. I told
Oh,
somebody I was gonna let them tap in while we build it.
okay. The invite. Okay, hold on. Give me a moment. Give me
Yeah, not an
one.
actual invite, but just if you live streaming on YouTube, share the link so I can send it to them so they can see us, so they can watch the build.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, I'll send it to you. Hold on.
You get your shit together, yeah. Come on.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I gotta. Let's see. I'm trying to find that book. I had it on here. Hmm. Hmm. Lord have mercy. Okay, I see what you sent me. Okay, I got it. Is this the one that says the landmarks by which this forest city of Rama was known were the same characteristic by the ancient Egyptian city of Heliopolis and Ifa, holy city of life, were known. Igbo Akuwu shared the exact same attributes with Ifa, holy city O Ife, and Benin, holy city Yehi. Is this the one that we? This the one that I'm reading on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, before I go any further, like explain that concept to me, like to help me to understand.
All right. So, and then that's another reason why I took on this bill with you is because I understand you understand. Like we're based in science, but we also understand consciousness and ethno science. So, with that understanding is the understanding of these conscious realms, or what we express as mythology, and what are the foundations of those realms. So, in my understanding, like especially like, so let's deal with the concept we're most familiar with as African Americans, which is Orisha. So with the concept of Orisha, we have to understand the root is Ori, which is consciousness itself. That manifestation of consciousness was brought into physical manifestation by the pre-Yoruba civilizations in what we call Yoruba land. Those predications of their philosophy, their governance systems, and their connection with what we call the heavens and instituting heaven on earth, that is a dimension of reality that the Orishas is in the Patakis or the stories is trying to lead us to. So when we dealing with the aspect of philosophy, tradition, and systems of socialism and government, those philosophies in the same realm of peace and harmony and advanced civilization with advanced technology, those are the same realms expressed when you're dealing with the realms of, say, Ile Ife, or the concept of Ife itself, right? So my my foundation on like West African spirituality, like I understand, like I respect and honor the Yoruba philosophy and the Orishas and Ifa and all that. I'm not a practitioner, but I study the culture. I'm I study from a philosophical standpoint. Philosophically, I feel like the most sound uh, philosophical traditional worldview is found in Odinani, which is the Igbo traditional spiritual system. And within their spiritual and traditional worldview and they thought, they view world as being broken up in cycles. Within these cycles, the first cycle start with a what we call um unto, which is the concept of oneness, or the concept of understanding that we are all one before this physical uh, uh, manifestation into this realm. That aspect of consciousness or divinity that exists, we were one with that existence in that first age. And then when you get into the second age is when you get into self-realization and understanding ourselves as aspects of that light, and with understanding us ourselves as aspects of that light, that begins the separation or the designation between divinity or the oneness in self, or uh the Ori. And then when you get into this third cycle or third age, you're dealing with the concept of us getting into this physical form. And by the end of that third age, we have lost or remember, or basically we abuse the knowledge from the earth and from that intelligent aspect of the root of the consciousness that of that realm we come from, to where now we fending for ourselves, which is where you get the concept of, in a lot of African traditions, they'll say the concept of the Most High or God is not concerned with human endeavors. And that is based on the understanding that through these ages of existence, then you go into the deluge of basically the end of one cycle and the beginning of another cycle. Within these different ages is expression to where all the collective consciousness of this plane or on this planet is projected as this is the only age, so this is what we know as reality. What African traditions and their systems of divination is based on is showing us that these realms of reality is more to this age and what we see as normalcy. So what they're pointing to is this existence or this ethereal plane of existence that time is not constricted to. So in this dimension of what we experiencing, we feeling like those myths and those existence, those realms of existence is either um imagined, or they're old tales. No, them is actual experiences of conscious realms that's at play right now. But you have to be able to tap in to understand the root of those systems to tap in into those realms. When you tap into those realms, you start to understand why Plato was so obsessed with what they called Atlantis, which what they described as existent on in Western Ethiopia. That they they could not, like the Greeks and those people that purported about Atlantis, they were mystified and they were afraid of going into deep into what they called the dark continent. So they heard legends about these highly sophisticated civilizations, and did not they could not really grasp or understand what these realms of existence really was. A few of them did, and when they realized what they were speaking on, which is why Plato left the concept of Atlantis the way he did, they could not expose to the masses the reality that they realized about the civilization on a continent called Africa right now. And that civilization is based in spiritual governance, that it's a socialist society that's also political, but based on high forms of governance and checks and balances, to where it's not no reigning king that has all power, but there is a chosen manifestation that's supposed to stand as the guard for these laws. But then we also have a council of mothers that's gonna hold this man accountable. So he doesn't have all power, and he can get out of line. The mother's gonna get him out of there. That's the same governance in the systems that's expressed when Plato is talking about the governance systems in Atlantis. Now, of course, we're talking a natural indigenous system that's before this advance or what we know as technological systems. We're using the energy from the cycles and the moon and the planet and harnessing that to to work our manifestations. So we working with the earth to get power. What they have to do is they are raping the earth to get power. So they don't even respect or honor the natural way of living. So when they expressing these concepts of Atlantis and these realms, these higher realms of civilization, they're perplexed because they literally don't believe or don't understand how we were able to stay in order and balance with nature, but also provide and build a strong and harmonic civilization. And that's some shit that even when you look into what the Greeks reference when they dealing with Atlantis, they always pointed to Ethiopia. They always said even the term or the concept of Ethiopia was used as Atlantia for a minute. So Atlantia and Ethiopia is interchangeable when you're speaking of ancient history. What we have to understand is Ethiopia is more, or the concept of Ethiopia is more than what they told us. It's more than just the Greeks terminalizing that place as the land of the burnt face people. It's more than burnt face. These people's dealing with concepts, metaphysical concepts of ether and this expression of spirituality that's only held in African ritual traditions, or what the Greeks call Orphic rites, and that is based in the the veneration of the serpent and harnessing that energy and using that energy to heal and perform your duties. That is the basis of voodoo, of all, especially West African traditions. So when you understand that we're only being separated by time, ego, and what we uh perceive or what we express as language, consciousness itself is before this expression of language. These we in those cycles, in the first two cycles that I'm speaking on, the mode of communication and expression is telepathic and dealing with energy. You're not dealing with a realm of putting it into vocal expression and having to express it throughout this time of cultural existence. So now, as time go on and different cultures is being civilized and being at built upon, and they're forming these different languages, forming these different cultures, forming these different ethnicities, they're expressing these same realms of existence, but just in different words, just in different systems. So I feel like everything is connected. So when we speaking on history, when we speaking on spirituality, when we speaking on consciousness, and when we speaking on psychology,
Mm-hmm.
all of that shit is connected and intertangled in different dimensions, but it's viewed in this physical dimension. It's all connected. So to say Atlantis itself, as expressed by the Greeks, or especially like after Plato, expressed it, there's other people that built on their fantasy of what this realm was. Those realms of existence could and could not have existed literally on this plane. But those philosophical and conscious aspects of what they speaking on in those systems of governance and advanced society is rooted in West Africa traditions and their mythology.
Okay, so basically, you saying that there's common teachings in the ancient Egyptian philosophy and West African teachings, etc. That's basically what you're saying to sum it up, as far as philosophically speaking. Okay, so now that kind of does that really explain the book that you was telling me about, Eden and Sumner? What's the title of that book?
Eden and Sumer on the Niger.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask you because like I said, I was trying to find that book because I downloaded that book. Let me look up the name.
I'm not gonna lie to you, right? The way your right brain works and the way we scholarly and skeptic with our research, that the way Catherine Ochluna, God rest her soul, the way she put her research together, man, you're gonna throw it out as pseudo ASAP. But once you be able to put it in proper context and understand what she was trying to get across, then you go back angle. Because I'm not gonna lie, I threw it off as pseudo when I first came across it a few years ago, and I could not understand what the fuck she was speaking on. But as I journeyed along through Igbo philosophy and connecting the dots, I start realizing, oh shit, they were speaking on the same shit she was speaking on. So let me go back and see what she was talking about. And so her archaeological and especially her linguistic research is not like it's not up to the standard of what we understand as a academic today. So from her Igbo philosophy, especially like because Igbo got hella pride, and niggas think they think they started everything. So within the expressions of their language, they try to correlate their language with everything in the world. Just like, I think that's where, the concept in African Americans, that shit in our blood, our imagination, that creativity, that's definitely in the Igbo ingenuity. They might have a right to that, being that when we dealing with modern science and the genetic science of understanding the ghost gene within West Africans, it's something about those people in that region that we are missing a link to understanding our true history. And that we are like, modern science is still, trying to understand what is the implications from that ghost gene. And I feel like if we study the philosophy and the oral tradition of those people, we could try to get an understanding of what they missing.
Okay. Right. Now I got the book pulled up. I pulled it up on my phone, so I'm trying to see if I can be able to pull it up on my computer here. Well, it's gonna take a minute, but anyways, let me go ahead and read it from my phone. So I know y'all can't really see my phone, and I don't expect for y'all to see my phone. Okay, but it says Eden in the Niger Delta. So chapter 1, it says it is from Babylonian and Mesopotamian records of Sumerians that the world has come to know about the earliest beginning of life on planet Earth. And it says Sumerian records written on cuneiform tablets excavated by archaeologists contain clear details of the origin of the planet Earth, how the solar system was created, how the planets were born, how the biblical creation story actually happened, the arrival onto planet Earth of extraterrestrial from another planet was outside the solar system. And it says a planet called Nibiru, how it is humanoid, created Homo sapiens, Adam, out of an already existing hominid whom the visitors described as hairy barbarians. Wow. Homo erectus. All these details are recorded in a number of Sumerian cuneiform tablets, texts of which the most famous is the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian epic of creation 27. Enuma Elish is a record of doing of the yeah, it's a record of the doings of the Anunnaki on earth, otherwise called the Nephilim in the Hebrew Bible. Those who from heaven came. The Enuma Elish appeared to have been heavily doctored to favor Marduk after he became the self-appointed god of the world. For Marduk took upon himself the title of all the Anunnaki and all of the gods, including that of the great god Atum, and made himself the hero of all the wars, including those where he had in reality been defeated. For this reason, we avoid using the Enuma Elish in this work and opted rather for another text that was written by Marduk's father, Enki, and was preserved intact. All right, so now I'm gonna be honest with you. After just reading that first paragraph, I did think that was pseudo.
Yeah, that's pseudo as hell.
I'm gonna tell you why, because it sounds like something that the Nuwapians would say. It sounds like something that the Nuwapians people would say. That sound like the information they would use. So when I see the Anunnaki and the Nibiru and the what else, and the Inky and all of that, I'm thinking Nuwapiism.
Okay, so
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
let me add my
okay,
context
okay.
to that lexicon and language, because I swear to God, I don't fuck with Anunnaki or none of that shit.
Right.
That, you know, that realm and shit. Mm-hmm. But now that, like, you know, I've went through a hell of an experience, spiritual experience a couple months ago, and I'm starting to understand more of what people's been trying to express. So, like, okay, when they speaking on aliens, I don't, and that's been before these last few months, but I don't conceive that as like what we think as aliens, as beings that's coming down here and all that type of shit. The same with the mythology about the water and the kingdoms down there. I feel like they're expressing exchanges of consciousness that's going on, that's manifested through light and through the what we call the Amen, the source of, you know, the battery that we call the sun, or no, the radiation of energy. So like, have you heard of what's called the squatter man?
I never heard that. Break that down to me.
The squatter man is, hold on, let me see. Hold on. It's basically an old symbol. So you know what the Kanaga is when you're dealing with the Dogon, that symbol with the man figure with his arms up, and then there's two things by him, like two entities by him, but his hands is up like this, but it's just a stick, like it's a drawing, and it's a body, two hands like this, and two legs. But anyways, that symbol is a symbol that's on petroglyphs and carvings all around the world. And what researchers have come to theorize is that it was an event, a cosmic event that happened through electromagnetic pulses, and that was expressed through whatever combustion that happened in the cosmic, to where people around the world witnessed this symbol, which was a light. So with this understanding, even when you're dealing with like the Kemetic natural of Neheb Kau, it's it's an understanding that the information and these aspects of consciousness and spiritual realizations that's expressed in these indigenous cultures, they are downloaded from light, and that light may come in different forms. And when that is expressed, you're gonna have different mythologies around the world of what that meant. But it's a commonality that, yeah, they might say it was aliens. They might say, something popped up after that cosmic event, just like when you're done with the Dogon, they say the Nomos. But we really not dealing with a physical vessel entity that came down here on some shit. No, you dealing with downloads of light that niggas came down here. Now they gotta create a story to pass down that's bigger than it's just some light shit. So now niggas get to create mythologies and stories to try to relate this information in a way that will resonate with people. So instead of saying they had a divine revelation or they had whatever, now they start saying that, this light and this consciousness that came from the cosmos, it was an alien entity. And that alien entity came down as a form of priesthoods. And now you got, niggas talking about actual history. But those historic entities is not deities. Them is niggas that just grasped the light and was able to express it, and now niggas venerated and honored them because they kept those, they taught that advanced knowledge. But me personally, I don't correlate with that aspect of, especially when you're dealing with the Anunnaki. I don't like it because even if that shit is any kind of valid, fuck them niggas. Fuck the Anunnaki. Like, them niggas interrupted our peace, my nigga. So even if you want to deal with that aspect, I'm open to, understanding that I don't know shit and I could be wrong, but I don't fuck with that shit.
Right. So I get what you're saying. Yeah. So when they explain actual events, they use it in mythological form, which makes it a lot easier for people to be able to understand the symbolic meaning behind these actual events taking place. And I can dig that. You know what I'm saying? I can dig it because that's where the lateral thinking come in, because what you're doing is you're being able to take the actual events or actual people and use the anthropomorphism behind it, or use a personification to help explain or tell the stories of these things without actually saying the actual name of the people or the actual events and location. So and I think that that's kind of the same way with the Bible. Like the Bible is told in a mythological way, as far as like the events and what happened to the people, you know what I'm saying? But it's very mythological. So like instead of just like actually saying like the names of the people at the time and the actual environment or the actual person, etc., they just use some type of mythology to tell the story about certain people, like certain tribes of people and stuff like that, by using personification. So like the story like Noah and Moses and all that, they represent anthropomorphism or personification of those tribal people. That's just my own, my interpretation of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. And that's like the root of, so like I said, Ethiopia is more than what we what we understand it as. So even when you're dealing with these the Bible concept of the Garden of Eden, and you're dealing with the Greek concept of Atlantis, you dealing with these realms of existence of the original people before greed, before we ate the fruit, or before we went outside of our paradise, when we didn't have the ancestors and the creator gave us everything that we needed. It was our greed that caused us to fall from that realm of existence. And those is the root of what those beginning stories is telling us. The stories of Atlantis, the stories of the Garden of Eden, that they expressing that the original people lived in harmony with nature and basically had paradise on this realm before they greed kicked in. And I feel like that's backed up by history and understanding our inner Homo sapien from what was that Homo erectus, from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens, to where Homo erectus is based, like, that's the ghost gene and the Bantu people, the West Congo people. So then you dealing with those
Then
what they
you
call
got
primitive
Neanderthals and
peoples,
all of that.
and then you dealing with, and this is what Catherine was pointing to, was the concept of they, like, Igbo tradition is they have a tradition of they lived before Adam. And what that concept is dealing with is understanding that it was a realm of existence that the Bible is not speaking on, they only hint to. And that is that it was people that inhabited this realm of existence or creation before the advent of Adam. The advent of Adam is what they terminologize as Homo sapiens sapien. So with that's when we get the history of this realm or this cycle or this age of saying that humanity started in East Africa, and that's when you're dealing with the Garden of Eden and all that, then Kemet, and then the interminglement of Homo sapiens with Neanderthals in that side of the world. Homo sapiens and the people of what we call Africa, they didn't have to. They were supposed to safeguard the land, the paradise, but also they were supposed to, be content and be grateful for what the creator gave us, man. All the minerals, all the shit. And it's like we didn't. We let our own greed let them other peoples in, go and fuck with them other peoples. And it's noted that Neanderthal is what introduced the paradigm of depression and anxiety to the human experience. So now you dealing with us dealing with ailments of the mind because our greed and our sexual urges did not allow us to just keep within our own kingdom. We allowed other shit in, and that's when you're dealing with the fall. And now you're dealing with what they call the curses, or the Greek, what they termize as the war between the gods and the titans and all that type of shit. You're dealing with consciousness and ego and greed of the human experience, and then that's where everybody else come in at. But we the original people. We's the original realm of that existence.
You say we the original people. We're the original people. So when you say we, are you talking about we as in humans or we as in black people?
I'm speaking on we as in the remnants of the DNA of the intelligent beings that existed before the advent of Homo sapiens.
That nobody is indispensable when it comes to
Okay, that's very interesting. Well, but then when we look at our predecessors, right, or what we call the progenitors,
You said what
we
now?
look
Hold
at.
on.
Can you hear me? Okay. So when we look at our progenitors, right, all those that came before us, we gotta look at bacteria. We gotta look at cells. We gotta look at, the water. We gotta look at the cosmos, like the stars and the planets and the elements and all that. I mean, we have to look at those things that came before us. So now when I think of like the intelligent beings or the beings that existed, then we have to go back to looking at the cosmos, because those are like our progenitors. Like we get all our we get our resources. I know it's gonna sound very pseudo when I'm saying we get our resources from the cosmos, in a sense. Meaning, like, okay, we get our energy from the sun, because without the sun, then how are we going to be able to survive? You know what I'm saying? The stars, which is nothing more than the sun itself. And, like I said, we get our minerals from the water. All of that. And then, the elements like the periodic tables, which you got like carbons, hydrogen, etc. Those things are needed for us to exist and survive as organism or as humans. So that's why I look at. So yeah, those beings, although they not intelligent being in the sense of the universe itself has its own intelligence. And so that's what people don't know. So the universe itself has its intelligence in the sense of its existence. You know what I'm saying? And we're still trying to figure out if there is a multi-universe. If there's a multiverse out here, if there is, how long has the universe really been around? Because we don't exactly know. For all we know that it's infinite, meaning that there's no beginning or end for many of us. But according to scientists, there is a beginning and end of the universe. The universe came around 13.5 billion years ago, and the Earth existed around 5 billion years ago, according to scientific knowledge. But we can't say for sure if that's really accurate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, when you're dealing with like the Igbo, kind of like the Odinani philosophy, they expressing those same ideas, but with their own cosmology and their worldview. So it's like we express and we say, yeah, the Big Bang was the beginning, but scientists are starting to understand that the beginning and the end is connected. So we saying it's the beginning of some, from one perspective, but another study says the end of something. But what we understanding is, or what Africans, what the Igbo understood is cycles of existence and its ages. So one realm of existence, which is what we in right now, the physical and what we perceive as human history, yeah, that's a part of this age and this cycle right now. But consciousness and the memory and the genetics of the original people hold on to something that is before this age.
Yeah, see, my thing with the Big Bang, this is where I stand on my issue with that. Because I can't really agree that there was a Big Bang taking place. Because first of all, you only got 5% of the universe that's observational, right? 5% of it, okay, that you can observe. And either the 25% is dark matter and the 70% is dark energy. So dark energy means there is some type of force going on, and dark matter means there is something within that force, but it cannot be seen with the naked eye. So you can only observe what you can with the 5%. So with that 5% of observation about the Big Bang, right? Okay, only that 5%. How can you call it a Big Bang when you can only observe 5%? You really don't know what else is taking place. You don't really know what else happened. So therefore, that's why I can't really stand on that position about the Big Bang Theory. It's very questionable, highly questionable to me.
Yeah, but that's what, like, when we dealing with these concepts of trying to express these realities or these thoughts in language, It's like, yeah, we chasing our own tail, cause like, especially when you really attuned or initiated into conscious realms, like you understand that this existence is beyond words. So like yeah, like exactly what you said. It's only a little bit that's observational. Everything else is in tune with the cycle and energy until you get to outside. So like even when you dealing with like the Yoruba concept of Orisha, Orisha is dealing with this realm of existence, but the Orisha come from um the cosmic realm, which is that natural force in what they call Oromole. So Oromole is dealing with those elements and those forces of that cosmic realm before that connection is made down here, and people is aligning that consciousness and calling them Orisha. You get what I'm saying? So same thing with the concept of like the Igbo philosophy, their Orisha or their divinities is called Alusi. They have Alusi, and those are devices or no idea conceptualizations from that realm to connect with that realm. But we understand that realm is from cosmic forces, and so Lucy is not, it's something that we create within this realm. But the Lucy, their true essence is from the Akbara. With the Akbara is those cosmic forces, that realm of existence. So me, I try to keep shit simple and understand like everything is based in a binary code. So it's only 0 and 1. 0 being primordial existence or that cosmic realm, or what we express as darkness or no primordial waters. And then you have the 1, which is the light, or what we perceive as a tomb in ancient Kemetic philosophy, or the atom in science. That is the concept of materialization from those cosmic forces or from that mental realm. All that shit is connected. We are that experience. So we have a conscious realm, or we have a cosmic realm within our own being, which is our Ori, which is what Orisha is expression. We have an Ori, but we are also connected as being physical vessels. That Ori has to be connected with something, and that's what the divination and all that shit is about. But naturally, like, and then we dealing with this realm of existence, not dealing with none of that pseudo or none of that spiritual spooky shit. We dealing with science. Yeah, we talking about cosmic elements.
Okay. Jehudi put something on here. He said, keep searching, bro, and stay skeptical. That's your only shield until you have command over the data and work that has been done. Hold on. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I say different tradition and different cultures, have their own way of explaining the natural phenomenon. And this is like kind of understand like the pre-science, because that's what pre-science were. It was based on cultural interpretation and also based on spirituality. So, spirituality was like the precursor of science before there was an actual science that we know of today, the Mars science. All right. It was based on spiritual beliefs. And I'm gonna go into it one day. I'm gonna do a topic video about spirituality and science alone. But I will say this: science is not too far away from spirituality. I'm gonna say it again: science is not too far away from spirituality. It's matter of fact, it's just another extension of spirituality. Well, what do I mean by that? So when I say it's an extension, it's just the only difference is they still do similar things that spiritual people would do, right? But the only difference is they using technological advances to better explain things, to better, to be able to go out and do more reliable research. That's the only difference. All right. And they don't use nomenclature like we do, like those who into spiritual systems, etc. They don't go around saying God this or God that, or a goon this or goon that, or alu this or alu that, or whatever, right? They not using those type of nomenclature. They're just, explain the cosmology, or they try to explain the astrophysics, or whatever the case. However, here's the interesting part. Physics themselves, now you're talking about physics. They're trying to find out, well, where do God play into this? Into the cosmological concept. Where do God play into consciousness? And where is consciousness? And how does consciousness come into existence? So, you got physics that's actually sitting down having conversation with philosophers and spiritualists to be able to understand, to compare and contrast, compare their philosophical point of views, and, have some type of contrasting differences. Like I watched this show on YouTube called Closer to the Truth. So Closer to the Truth is a YouTube series where you have physicists having conversation with philosophers and cosmologists and spiritualists about the universe, about the idea of God, about the philosophical view behind subjectivity and objectivity and all of that. So to me, it just seems so interesting that you got the physics that's more intrigued and more enthusiastic about understanding what consciousness is and how does consciousness formulates, does it really exist? And then they talk more about quantum physics and trying to connect the dots with quantum physics and consciousness, and trying to get into the concept of what we call the gods or the Most High, etc. And that's another thing. And speaking of gods and Most High, we technically can't say there is or there isn't a God or any type of force behind this universe. We can't really say that because we don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I just need like a secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't really say that there is no God or there is no type of force behind here, like some type of creator, because we don't really know. You know what I'm saying? We really don't know, because again, the universe is only 5% observational. So when it's observational at 5%, you can't say, well, there is no force behind here or there is a force behind here. You only going by your own philosophical beliefs, right? So whether you stay in the school of atheism, okay, how do you prove that there is no creator? All right, if you stay in the school of being religious, how do you prove that there is a creator? You don't really know exactly. What, as far as you don't know, is that there is a force, there's something behind nature, but you just you just using your philosophical opinion and your philosophical views to describe this force. You might say that there isn't over here, and you say there is. All right, so that's why I like agnosticism, because agnosticism say, well, we don't know, we ain't got the answer. So you can play both sides, you can question both sides. Well, how do you know that your religious test or your spirituality is true and exact? And how do you know that this is not true and exact? What type of proof do you have? What type of proof do you have over here? So
that's the same thing that our ancestors was doing in West Africa. It's a form of Gnosticism, but with the mythology. So like when you're done with Gnosticism, we understand that the spark of this aspect of consciousness is rooted in Sophia, right?
Yeah.
So that is an expression, or the same expression that's expressed when you're dealing with like Obatala or you dealing with Damballa, or you dealing with these different aspects of formulating what was the original spark that created this consciousness, and understanding that that realm of consciousness is older than us ourselves. So that's when you get into ancestor veneration, all just trying to get to that source, but understanding we will never be able, and that's what I respect about African traditions, and also my roots in the 5% nation of gods and earth, is understanding like we not going to search and for the unknowable. We
Right.
understand that if there is a God, it's no way we can conceive or understand that aspect. So instead of chasing after the mystery, we're going to codify our understanding of this reality. And that's what I feel like we should be trying to do. Don't chase the mystery. That's why we fuck with science.
There you go. There you go. And I'm a person that I love science, but I don't get too caught up in science 100%. And what I say that, the reason why I say that is because people tend to make religion out of science. Like as if you go to science and you're going to get all the answers from science, and you're really not going to get all the answers. All right. Because even those in the scientific field, they can only tell you so much. And there's still a lot of ongoing research about things. So, and then there's some things that they go through what we call trial and error. So there might be some error in the scientific knowledge, and they have to go back and correct some information or update information because they discover more and more stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not what it really is. So in a sense, I don't put like 100% into science. Like certain things I will be able to take it, and if it makes sense and it's proven, then it's like okay. But if something is not really proven and it can be challenged at all time, or it can be updated, whatnot, then that's when I would have to question, and I would have to be able to just kind of just sit back and just think a little bit more into deep before I really just say, okay, I fully agree on it. And then with us being in the West, right, we're dealing with Western interpretation of science.
Exactly.
That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Western interpretation. It's not that it's really a bad thing, but that's what we go by because of the type of culture that we live in. So, and it's like when you try, and then one day I did a bill about cultural astronomy. A lot of people don't know what cultural astronomy is because it's not a very popular field, because you don't have the so-called minorities that's in the fields in those studies. You
But
know,
even like a lot of common knowledge, popular astronomy is cultural astronomy. It's just white. It's just them, they shit. So like that's when like what I'm saying is, just like if you're not a scientist or you're not a researcher and you don't deal with the science, you don't really understand the details behind the workings, behind the mechanics of how the shit is working. The same thing that goes on with our understanding of cosmology and myth. If you're not initiated, if you're not embodied with that Orisha of intelligence, then you don't really understand how the mechanisms is working. So we just observing. We might agree with some concepts or not agree with some concepts, but we don't really have a right to say that you're right or wrong if you're not dealing with the science that they dealing with.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, that's why, in life, you have to constantly, you have to have universal knowledge. I mean, universal knowledge is necessary, because if you just studying from just one point of view and dealing with that one aspect, then you miss out on a whole lot of things around you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to expand your mind. You have to grow a little bit. You know what I mean? You have to be able to be willing to read up on other things, and be able to compare that information to what you have learned, and be able to find out, okay, well, what is the logic in this, and what is the logic in this, and where's some pieces that's missing in this information, and what's some pieces that's missing in that information. So yeah, people gotta be able to be more universal and not just deal with the rudimentary level. You have to go past the rudimentary. You have to go above and beyond that rudimentary level of knowledge. You know,
Yeah,
you have to take
sometimes
it a step further.
I feel like a lot of times it's like a emotional stability problem to where people don't have the intellectual capacity to hold one thought and say, okay, it may be valid or may be not, but I'm still going to go on a search. They don't know how to hold that placeholder and say it could and could not be. They either go fully and say that's it, or they reject it. And that be the problem, where people just stay where they at, or they looking for confirmation for what they already believe.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right, go. All right, go.
Right. So and then a lot of times they could
I don't know what just
lead
happened.
in. Could you hear me? Yeah, a lot. Uh-oh.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So a lot of time that could lead into romanticism. That could lead into romanticism because you're only looking for something that makes you feel accommodated and makes you feel good. And it's nothing wrong with finding something that can make you feel good, because we all want something that lift our spirits or make us feel some kind of way. But we don't want to get too engulfed. Yeah, we don't want to become
I'm right here,
engulfed
sister. I'm
in.
right here. I'm looking for some.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we don't want to get
Go ahead.
engulfed into the romanticism, because when you become engulfed in it, then you lose yourself. You forget about where you are and how things function around you, etc. So you don't want to be engulfed into romanticism. You want to be able to you want to be a little bit more open. Yeah, you want certain things that can make you feel some kind of way, make you feel good, but at the same time, you want to be able to have an open mind to deal with things that may not be so comfortable. So you'll be able to deal with that spectrum and that reality. Yeah, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm looking for this reference I want to share with you,
Okay.
but I'm right here.
Okay then.
The audio is kind of glitchy right now. I don't
Yeah, I can
know if it's because I'm
tell.
off the. So give me a second. I'll be right there. Hold on.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So, can I ask you, what's your thoughts on
I can't hear you.
the?
You kind of going in. You got a static sound.
All right, hold on, for sure. Damn. Man, I wish I had my laptop, man. Uh, man. Hello.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, we better.
Yeah.
All right. I was trying to find these notes that I had, but they I got too much shit on my phone. I gotta get access to my computer.
Okay.
Um, but I just wanted like so my conceptualization of my thesis came from just analyzing consciousness and analyzing like I don't like I hold reserve on judgment from anything until like I can analyze it from all different ways. So as I'm um studying and researching Greek mythology and history, I have to come with an understanding of why their most prolific legend, which is an Atlantis, is based and governed in the land of Africa, being Ethiopia, and they reference Mauritania. Um, and so when I get into like getting into what they was the expression and what they viewed as the opposition, or what they viewed as um a people that lost God and willing to be conquered, and I associate that with my understanding of history and my understanding of the mind state of the European of that time to now, and understanding those conscious. So whether it is a, a aspect of history or not, it was a reason why those aspects was attributed to the land, and why they felt like they had to go to war over that shit, even in their myths. So I had to ask myself why. Why was they so um focused on this side of the world, and why um when you're dealing with the aspect of their what the first king of Atlantis, according to their tradition, was being Atlas, and Atlas being the king of Mauritania, and we understanding that the whole influx of Greek thought and Greek culture and even light-skinned peoples in that part of North Africa comes from that historical and that psychological colonization. I feel like it's some validity to um subscribing an ancient civilization on that land to the mythology and the fear in their aspect of why they need to govern and feel like they have a right to, take over that land, because the people of that land is powerful, and the way they portrayed and express the cultures and the civilization and even the physical aspects of their people of this underworld is what they called it. They was speaking on niggas. So I'm when we equate that to modern science, and we, like I said, you get into understand um the ghost genes and the Bantu expansion, and you start correlating that with the myth of Atlantis and our fall, and then the condition of where we at today. I feel like even if we not dealing with an aspect of history on this realm, we dealing with a conscious aspect that they felt was significant, very significant, and that they adored. But also not, if you look into their mythology, yeah, they adored it as a legendary high status civilization, but their gods seek to destroy and control it. And that's what we see on the continent and in our people today. So my understanding is it's not just a coincidence, or not just um a random occurrence that both of their references for this civilization is references to the land of what they call Africa, which is Ethiopia Atlantis, and then Mauritania. So then we were dealing with the traditions and the cult rights of those people. All you dealing with is the foundation of what we know as historical West African kingdoms and how they instituted those political governance systems to keep checks and balances with the earth and with the gods and with the energy. And that whole shit has been corrupted to the point to where we don't like all that shit has been about survival and war and all that shit now to where we look at that shit like some crazy shit. But like no, the institutions of what they were trying to represent is the staples of what we in this Western world conceptualize as socialist societies and how to keep them in check and how to make sure everybody good. And they didn't like that. They had to come destroy that. And that's what the Atlantis myth is about. They plot whether it was unconscious, subconscious or conscious, it was a thought in their minds and they manifested it.
Well, I'm just gonna be honest here. I can't really say that I fully agree with you on that, but I mean I understand where you're coming from, but I can't really say I agree with you on this, especially with the whole concept about the ancient Egyptian being Atlantis or the Atlanteans. But I understand what you were trying, what you're trying to explain here.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I told you, like, I'm not too into like getting into like the European mythology or the alien Sumerian shit and all that type of shit. And that's what that world come with. I base my shit like they call it Atlantis, and my understanding of my studies, according to African West our people, it's called the Leopard Society. And that shit is deep.
Leopard Society, explain that. Let's talk about that Leopard Society.
Okay. The Ekpe Society is a society based on the traditions of the ethic and also the systems of governance that's placed on these ancestral concepts that is projected in their traditions to be the foundation of all socialist diplomacy, astronomy, and civilization. So I understand that from a Western point of view, we point to Kemet and we point to Ethiopia as the mothers of civilization, or from an Afrocentric view, because from a world point of view, they point to Sumer. But that's dealing with the concepts of morality and visualization. Of moral values do you perceive as being civilized? And when we dealing with the European and the aspects of what the Anunnaki and the Sumerians set out to do consciously, you dealing with enslavement, you dealing with power struggle and all that type of shit. When you dealing with the original state of this expression of conscious manifestation, bringing that realm down here, you dealing with the leopard concept of providing for the people and honoring that everything that you do is in law and order with the land. So it's continual communication with the land and letting the land provide, and the man being responsible for providing for all society, which is no separation from the worker and the priest. Everybody eat.
Okay, so now I put up the Wikipedia source of Leopard Society. All right, since we're on the subject, so right here it says the Leopard Society, not to be confused with Ekpe, was a
The Ekpe is what I'm referencing. To be
okay.
exact.
Well, okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the Ekpe then. All right. Okay, so now the Ekpe, right, known as the Igbo, all right, derived from the Ibibio term, is a West African secret society in Nigeria and Cameroon, flourishing chiefly among the EFs. I can't say the word correctly, so maybe you can help me pronounce this word right here. It's spelled EFIKS.
Ethics or
Ethics.
Affiques.
Affiques. Okay, thank you. Affiques. So it is also found among a number of other ethnic groups, including the Bahumono of the Cross River State and the Ibibio, the Yuan, and the Oron of the Akwa Ibom State, and some other parts of the Abia State, as well as in the diaspora, such as in Cuba and Brazil. The society is still active at the beginning of the 21st century, now playing more a ceremonial role. All right. And so it got the symbols right here. And it says there are two distinct but related societies. The primary society is located in Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Arachukiwu areas of Nigeria.
Arochukwu.
And how you say Awachuku? That's how you say it.
Yep.
Arochukwu. Okay, Arochukwu areas of Nigeria, and the secondary society consists of members from the southern and eastern Igbo groups of the same country. All right, so this is what you was talking about basically, right? And you were saying about how Ikpe is a mysterious spirit who is supposed to live in the jungle and to preside at the ceremonies of the society. Members of the Ikpe society are said to act as messengers of the ancestor. The economics of the society is based on paying tribute to the village ancestor. Only males can join. Boys being initiated about the age of puberty. Members are bound by oath of secrecy, and fees on interest are payable. The Ikpe men are ranked in 7 or 9 grades for promotion, to each of which fresh initiation ceremonies, fees, and oaths are necessary. Right. So you was kind of getting into this part, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so yeah, we're gonna go back into the Leopard Society because I'm interested in knowing about the Leopard Society. But yeah, the Leopard Society was a secret society that originated in Sierra Leone. Ooh, did he leave out? Okay, so I don't know where he is. He probably not left out, but anyways, since we're on the subject about, let me see, let me get him back on here. Okay, so yeah, going back to I was reading about the Leopard Society. It says the Leopard Society was a secret society that originated in Sierra Leone. It was believed that members of the society could transform into leopards through the use of witchcraft. The earliest reference to the society in historical literature can be found in George Banbury's Sierra Leone or the White Man's Grave, 1888. The society brought fears to many parts of the world. And it goes on to say it was a secret society. They were originally centered in Sierra Leone, but spread to other countries such as Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast, and Nigeria. Among the Ife of Calabar, they were known as what's this word? Is it Inforicape, or how do you say Inforicape?
I don't even know where you at. Where you at?
Okay, right here where it's spelled. Okay, this word is spelled
Oh
M.
yeah, shit. I'm not even gonna try that one.
Okay, then. All right, I tried, and were dreaded. So members would dress in leopard skins, waylaying travelers with Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right. So it says the victim's flesh will be cut from their bodies and distributed to members of the secret society according to their beliefs. The ritual cannibalism would strengthen both members of the secret society as well as their entire tribe. So have you heard anything about this as far as Sierra Leone, the Leopard Society?
Yeah, that's a part of it, but like I said, with this aspect of what we
Mm-hmm.
call time, and then this war that the European done waged and rewrote history, um, it's intricate to speak on the Leopard Society because, like other secret societies, um, it's lure and darkness that's associated with their legacy. And that's
Mm-hmm.
because we've been fighting a war, spiritual war. That's niggas, and that's another aspect of the Leopard Society that we really need to understand is the aspect of niggas wage war during the transatlantic slave trade. It wasn't that they just came and just took niggas. No, you had organizations and you had especially the Leopard Society that wasn't going for that shit and that was fucking over the colonizers and then start fucking over the coons that was fucking over the colonizers. But of course, that's a menace to their history. So the way they write history, they gonna make the egg pay look like the fucking devil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. Wow. Well,
Can you play a YouTube video?
a YouTube video of whom?
I'm got a YouTube video reference for classical Leopard Society.
Okay. Um. Okay. What's the name of the video?
I send it to. Do I send? Can I send? Do I put the copy
Yeah.
of the link on here or send it to your messenger?
Just send it to my messenger and I can play it.
Definitely. Oh, I just sent it to you.
All right. Hold on. Let me go in my inbox.
And don't get triggered like me because I know we both get triggered by pseudo shit. He uses he takes a position that says that the West Africans um is responsible for astrology, and we know that the Western conceptualization of astrology ain't our shit. So don't let that shit turn you off, because that nigga definitely. I'm like, astrology, nigga. We don't fuck with that shit, bro. But I believe he's speaking on just using astrotheology, and which is the roots of astrology, because he don't get into the but he just uses the reference of yeah we start this astrology shit.
All right. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. All right, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and put us on mute while this video is playing.
All right.
All right.
Hello, welcome to this new episode of the World Teacher Unfiltered series titled The Leopard Society and the Origin of Government. The Leopard Society is the oldest system of government and mystery societal organization to ever exist on Earth. the structure and development of organized societies of the old world, including systems of governing ideologies such as socialism, communism, and democracy.
What happened? Did we freeze?
Okay, I'm sorry. Dang. Dang, what just happened? Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I just got kicked out of here, so let me see if he gonna come back on here.
What happened?
I just got kicked off. My bad.
Okay.
Let me go back and I'm gonna go back and play the video again. I'm gonna start from the very beginning.
All right. Put my phone on the charger real quick.
Okay. All right, so let's try this again. Okay, go ahead, put us on mute.
Hello, welcome to this new episode of the World Teacher Unfiltered series titled The Leopard Society and the Origin of Government. The Leopard Society is the oldest system of government and mystery societal organization to ever exist on Earth. The structure and development of organized societies of the old world, including systems of governing ideologies such as socialism, communism, and democracy, evolved here through the comprehension of the knowledge contained within the original mystery of the leopard. Its broader character covers the area of law-giving, justice, security, communal unions, federation, and democratic approach to cultivating and balancing a society in harmony. Its earliest origin was in West Africa, and its thoughts from its communities and societies not only spread to places such as Egypt, Babylon, and Greece, but their societal structures and administration was derived from the original knowledge of the Leopard Society. The customs and traditions of the ancient warrior people, including a sense of community, hard work, and labor to feed and support the family. Also, a discipline, moral authority of the family, sense of oneness, equality, fairness, freedom, and justice as reward of a righteous and upright act, not a brutal punishment. Here were the foundations and principles that strengthened the leopard organization. Legends holds that the leopard was a big fish that came out of the water. He transformed into a leopard and finally into a man who lived with the native population and taught them literature, writing, communication, astrology, astronomy, mathematics, even environmental protection, engineering, farming, music, and fire cooking. The early initiates were the women who benefited from the knowledge of childbirth, childcare, and homemaking. The old Calabar in Nigeria, known to be the birthplace of the Leopard Society, believed this teacher leopard named Oba was God, with the ability to shapeshift into a leopard and back into a man. With his teachings came the exalt of the leopard as the king of the jungle. In other words, the leopard, not the lion, is the king of the jungle. Also, as a symbol of royalty, strength, and peacemaking among people and communities, it was also known as the king of the sky, the king of the night, and the king of the underworld. After 3.5 years, the leopard man disappeared back into the water, but not before establishing the Leopard Society. In Calabar, the leopard organization was called Equa Society, headed by the paramount ruler or king of Calabar. His sub-chiefs were all members of the executive and legislative arms of the society. There was separation of powers. The spiritual or mystery organ was headed by the Abba Ephik, the high priest. And while he receives his authority from the leopard and retains it, no one is saved from his power and curse unless the administration appeases the spirit of the leopard through him. The Leopard Society governance embodies the principles of brotherhood, the principles of peace, love, and a sense of inclusion, liberty, equality, and fairness for all regarding the man, woman, and the child. There are three major components of the system of the Leopard Society. This includes Nsibidi, Ukara, and Amama. Nsibidi. This is a collection of hieroglyphs and writing symbols within the community, perhaps the oldest signs, cipher, and crypts, fostering understanding among various groups of people and individuals. It created philosophy, fostering enlightenment in alchemy and technological developments to enhance a functional system with a body of rules that helps to govern a society effectively. Nsibidi means in the shadow of the jungle or forest. The jungle symbolized the body of the human society. Nsibidi has further branches and classifications which directly impact the creation of the three levels of government. It's often said democracy and socialism began in Europe. What if we were wrong all this while? Below are the classifications of Nsibidi, the educational system. This is a system of educating the elites and the middle class about the mysteries of nature and its mastery, including medicine, writing, astrology, calculus, mathematics, reading, politics, law, and military training. Number two, government and political administration. Nsibidi is primarily a tool or system of political governance and leadership within the society to reflect the needs of the people, headed by the chief as chief executive, as was practiced in the jungles of Africa, especially the Niger-Congo Bantu region, headquartered in the old Calabar, the first capital of Nigeria. This aspect governs the economic approach to governance, including business, ownership, and taxation to sustain the government. Other pillars, aspects of the government include the legislature, judiciary, and the law enforcement. These pillars were vital components of Nsibidi, system of leopard democratic governance to keep the peace, feed the people, foster physical development, and to enable the rule of law to prevail above all else. Ukara. This represents the mystic power, royalty, and kingship of the Leopard Society. The Ukara is a cloth and ceremony of the initiates. It is a cloth worn by initiates for a traditional religious, priestly, and royal coronation of the ruling class. The leopard dress or cloth is worn by royalty and nobility, especially during formal secret proceedings and rituals of the secret mystic organ. The Ukara distinguishes the privileged class from the ordinary people. As the royal king and his court chiefs wear it during formal execution of government functions. The Ukara is the invisible power structure and sacred knowledge that governs the outer visible structure of the leopard governing system. Amama. Amama is another important aspect of the Leopard Society governing system. This is where the concept of socialism emanated from. It's the social aspect of the democratic government. This has to do with the community's wealth and the redistribution of wealth equally to all people by taking from the wealthy and redistributing it to the poor, including money and food and other means of production. The huge sums of money paid by Amama, who control much of the wealth, is funneled back into the society.
We here?
All right then. I hope you. Oops. I hope you guys catch most of that video. Yeah, I hope you guys caught most of that video about the Leopard Society. I'm not sure if the brother gonna come back on here. So I'm having something going on with my connection. I don't know what's going on with my connection. Okay, there you go. Once again, I apologize. Something's going on with my connection on here. So yeah, I played the video of the Leopard Society. So far, I think that it was a good video. I think it was a good educational and historical video and whatnot. What made you decide to go ahead and share this video?
Because it's get deep. So when you're dealing with the aspect of Kemetic culture, their base roots is rooted in the traditional rights of the pygmy in the Congo. Their philosophical understanding about time, mathematics, and writing is rooted in what is codified today as the Leopard Society or the Leopard priesthood. But the foundations of Kemetic culture is founded in that same society, in that same traditional right. And I got the proof.
All right, I'm sorry about that. You there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
Do Did you catch what was the last thing you caught?
Well, you said you got proof and you was getting up to go get something.
Okay, so I'm gonna deal mythological, dealing with the natural and the purported foundation of their philosophy, and then we're gonna deal with what they got and what they put on and pretended like they was the keepers of that culture, of that society, and that is the basis of the Atlantis myth. So, mythological wise, you deal with, like, you understand the precepts of Kemetic mythology, right?
I mean, some of it, the ones that I came across, well, they're not really mythology per se, but they're more like funerary texts.
I'm talking about like the aspects of the natural and the cosmology of how it started.
I haven't really got that deep into it like that, no.
Okay, so when you're dealing with Kemetic mythology or Kemetic cosmology, we understand like the philosophical and the civilizing aspect of Mayat, which was codified and witnessed by what we call Tahuti. You know who Tahuti is, right?
Yeah, I heard of Tootie.
So Tahuti is also the aspect of when you're dealing with all those other Greek and Roman occult rites, you're dealing with Tahuti. You're dealing with their interpretations of the priesthood of that knowledge. So you got Hermes, and then you got Jupiter, but it's all aspects of that same ancient knowledge. Now, Tahuti is purported in Kemetic society to be the founder of writing. He brought writing to their civilization, and he is the one that is supposed to have inscribed what we call the hieroglyphics or the Manu Nature. Agree or no?
Do I agree?
So Tahuti is the foundation of Kemetic civilization. His most anthropomorphized interpretation is that of baboon. So he is associated with the baboon. So even when you're dealing with the aspect of this age of that interpretation of that same wisdom, you're dealing with the Lion King and the aspect of Rafiki. But that's another story. So with the understanding that Tahuti bought civilization and is the foundation of Kemetic culture, he is the baboon. Also the priesthood and the royal the royal priesthood and the royal palace were the peoples that were subscribed, especially during ritual rites, to wear the leopard the leopard cloth, which was honorary and a right in the ode to this ancient traditional right. That traditional right is founded in the Bantu Ekpe society and their realization of honoring the cosmic order and providing for the people to keep harmony and peace on this shit, which is the same thing that was instituted through Maya and Tahuti and Kemet. Now, with this baboon and correlating it to the Ekpe society is the understanding of what Ensabidi really is. And Ensabidi is the codification of interpretations of symbols and principles that the ethic in the Igbo people had got from what they call the Inshi, which is the pygmy, and the baboon. The baboon is, they were, according to their traditional mythology, the Ensabidi was the symbols was taken from watching baboons make symbols with their hands in the shadow. And you know, just like all mythology, is not to be taken word for word, but it's to be understood that we got this from watching nature and our people and our progenitors being the pygmy and the baboon or the ape. Now that is traditional Congo rites, and that's where the understanding of intelligence is associated with the baboon, and the association with royal and sovereignty and power is associated with the symbology of the leopard. Now, when you're dealing with the oldest deity in Kemetic rites or their writing, you're dealing with the deity called Bes, who is a pygmy that is subscribed to be from the land of Punt, which is in sub-Saharan Africa, and he is said to be a Aka pygmy. Aka pygmy is a ethnic city of pygmy people that's still in Congo, right by the river today. They have their interpretation of how we fall that correlates with this whole rim of what we call Atlantis or the Garden of Eden or Ethiopia itself. It's all saying the same shit. It's just different expressions and languages because, you know, niggas do their own shit. But the principles and the rights is all the same.
Okay. Interesting. I must say that's interesting. All right. So well, we gonna go ahead and close it out. I appreciate this dialogue. I really do. I appreciate the information. It's a lot to take in. I'm gonna be straight up. It's a lot to take in, but if you really think about it and you get into studying more about mythology and philosophies and creation stories, etc., then it'll all make sense in a way. But yeah, I really appreciate that. Anything else? Like, is there any book suggestion that you may want to put out there? Any book that you suggest besides the one that you gave me about the Eden and the Sumner?
To this specific topic, not specifically, I'm working on, doing my own thing. But as far as like our people and just understanding the original state of mind and being in line with the cosmic order, look to Ifa, look to the Orisha, but not as a form of worshiping or honoring something outside of yourself. You literally dealing with genetic information that's being updated and expressed, which is why the myths always change, and it might be shit that contradict each other one time because time don't exist, but they're just like science, shit updates. And when you're dealing with the concept of the Orisha and the concept of this serpent energy, you're dealing with consciousness, which is a reference to primordial waters and waters manifested here, which is what your body's primarily consists of. You're dealing with intelligence, which is codified in your genetics, which is what the serpent represents, that that energy, which is why you see Ptah with that same symbol in the hieroglyphics. You see Damballa with that same symbol in voodoo. It's the DNA, and that's why even in the Bible they tell that you're the thing is to keep your to keep yourself pure, and that's dealing with the genetics and understanding that once you've been out of that realm of higher expression, you dealing with this realm that we dealing with right now, you have to go back and get in tune with your ancestors and do the work. And that is what the Orishas is expressing through your genetics, and why you have not even just through your genetics, through your family. You got drunks, whores, you got motherfuckers that's fucked up and all that type of shit. These is literally aspects of the Orishas and falling down from being in connection with Oludumare. This is genetic expression, but expressed on a cosmic and spiritual realm that's all connected in one. So we have to understand that if we want to understand how to get ourselves together, we have to go back and get that, like what they say, Sankofa. We have to go back and do that work within ourselves and understand we're not dealing with nothing outside of nature. And what nature is the same aspect of what you are. So yeah, you have a cosmic connection, and you also have an earthly connection with your sexual urges. And understanding that balance and understanding how to live in harmony with those expressions is gonna come with either work and realizing your divinity or a lot of emotional baggage. And niggas gotta heal. So if we want to align and bring that ancestral cosmic reality to this plane, we have to go back and understand what's in our genetics, what we are dealing with, and understand it's not an aspect of right or wrong. It's an aspect of realizing that the work is not done. It's a continually work on ascending and creating a better reality for this next generation, so we can get back to Ife. We can get back to Atlantis. We can get back to the Ether Utopia. That's what it's about. And understand, like the Igbo philosophy, we understand in this age right now, what we call time, it's the last, we coming to the end of a cycle. And it's gonna repopulate, and motherfuckers gonna feel like they the first motherfuckers again when we done with this shit. But the consciousness and your aspect of your ethereal reality is gonna exist forever, and it's gonna be here if you align yourself. But if not, you're gonna be recycled energy. We have to understand what's going on and what our ancestors told us. Fuck all that. I ain't say fuck all that, but it's a lot of trickery when you're dealing with these religions and these texts and these Anunnakis and all that type of shit, when we deal with nature and your genetics. So you want to take it from a scientific standpoint, you want to take it from a philosophic standpoint, or you take it on a spiritual standpoint. You have to honor your ancestors and the shit that came before you, and deal and understand what troubles or strongholds are associated with your genetic makeup, because we got some deep shit, especially if you've been living in America in poverty and your people just been in a survival state of mind. It's a lot of trauma that we have to acknowledge, and the Orisha is gonna help us get back and understand that shit. Don't think that shit is outside of yourself. That shit is in your genetics. But if you want to understand the real mysteries, like I said, gotta go to Ifa, get initiated. But I don't promote anybody getting initiated into a system that you're not going to be living within into that society. So my will and my work is to be able to codify a reality that we can relate to right now, to where we ain't supposed to be getting initiated in somebody else's shit if we not going to be communicating. Because what we're dealing with is creating quantum fields of communication between consciousness in these genetic entities or primordial archetypes that we communicate to. That's before, like I said, before language, which is why, you know, if you into that society and you able to manipulate the energy from the shit, you can make certain shit and animate that ain't animated. But we don't have that kind of society. We are colonized. We in this Western. We city, all that shit. It don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense to get initiated into a society that you're not going to be communicating, living within. We have to have one for our own. So that's the mission. That's the work that needs to be done.
Wow, powerful, very powerful. Um, yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. You know, you don't want to get initiated into something you're not going to be as committed to it, or you're not going to be too much connected with. So I understand where you're coming from. Yep. Um, and I can see what you mean on that level. But outside of that, like I said, this was a great discussion. And for anybody that's just tuning in, please watch the channel. And also, the brother got a Facebook page if y'all want to connect with him on Facebook. Some of y'all might be connected with him. Some of y'all may not be connected with him. Is AK is all right? That's your Facebook account. AK is all.
First name AK, last name is all ISALL.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can connect with him on Facebook. I remember I seen that you had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I don't really be dropping too much because, like I said, my understanding, my experience, like I was on the field. I was really doing shit on the street and trying to manifest this reality. And then I realized I had to get into understanding the psychology and the strongholds that's on our people, because it's bigger than just thinking you just finna start getting the people together in the rep. No, because we dealing with a lot of shit that's beyond this realm. And like I said, man, it's a forever evolving and studying and applying this understanding, but also the living and the experience. So I'm not finna be out here just teaching people what I study or what I think I know. No, it's about applying and understanding the experience. And I ain't gonna lie, this experience that the spirit that's took me on in the last 2 months, I appreciate it, and I'm really understand that. Yeah, it's time to get back on the field and do this work, and that includes, you know, getting the YouTube back cracking. So I'll be back. It won't be that page that you've seen, but I'll be on there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So. All right. Cool.
Love y'all, and then also my interpretation of that realm of what that represents is, like, in my language, my codification is Negusum. So, like, in me interpreting and doing the alchemy of the collective consciousness in our community, I feel like that's something that we could grasp because it's rooted in something that and shit that we familiar with. And it's like I said, everything is codified in the experience of the ethnic group, and then how they choose to express it within their reality. So, like I said, we're gonna get back to Atlantis, Ethiopia. We're gonna get back to Ife. We're gonna get back to all that shit. But it's all about understanding our connection with the ancestors, which is codified, and I mean not codified, but, you know, embraced in nature itself. So it's not just physical beings, but like you said, it's those cosmic elements as well.
Okay. Wow, that's great. That's powerful. Yeah. So I appreciate you once again. And I hope that I can bring you back on here and we can do some more build. So whenever you're available, we can do some more build on other subjects as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I have my notes because my shit, my laptop, and my charger got a little problem with it right now. But when I get back on my shit, I'll be able to send you some shit that I feel like you could correlate and then do your own critical thinking, so you could get into the understanding of, damn, this shit really all connected.
Okay, then. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And I will talk to you later. So I hope you have a good one. Enjoy yourself out there in that sunny weather. While I enjoy myself out here in the hot A.
All right, for sure, birthday twin. Hey, our
Oh,
shit
you know
coming up
Fred
too,
Hampton,
man.
but hey,
You
you know
said
Fred
what?
Hampton's birthday on the same day too.
Yup, same day, same
And
year.
Robin Harris, the late comedian Robin Harris.
Robin Harris. Oh, that he born our day too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. That's what's
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
He
know.
was.
Fred Hampton for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. All right then, twin.
All
We were
right,
born
peace,
on the
God.
same. Yeah, we were born on the same day in the same year. That's funny, right? All right then. Peace.
All right, for sure.
All right. Huh. All right then. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. For those of you just watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the channel, share the channel. If you got any comments, you can put it on the comment section. And peace to TK. Thank you for coming through, TK. I appreciate you. Yeah. So that was a great dialogue. That was a good, interesting conversation. Yeah, very interesting. You know what I mean? And I hope you all enjoy yourselves. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the channel, share the channel, hit the notification bell, etc., etc. So peace and power and elevation be to all you. Until next time, this is your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off saying deuces. All right, thank you so much. Be safe.